Tiny Glade was developed by a Swedish two-person indie studio called Pounce, whose developers Anastasia and Tomas share 15 years' worth of experience at Embark Studios, Electronic Arts and Creative Assembly, which enabled them to create their debut passion hobby game. After Anastasia shared early developments of their work on TikTok, the game went viral for promising a stress-free, feel-good game focused on just building. There is no management, no grinding for resources, no combat, just kicking back and tapping into the joy of making something pretty. The developers envisioned a cozy, serene game space to distract players from the many challenges and anxieties present in modern life, with many games critics touting Tiny Glade as therapy. Tomas and Anastasia stated if the game brings smiles to a few people's faces, lets them slow down in this hectic world, or cheers them up after a crappy day, well, we'll be a very happy bunch of developers. Tiny Glade emerges from two distinct genres. It is a diorama builder, commonly known as a sandbox game, which is a genre that allows players to constantly experiment with the edges of the world you inhabit without having to follow a strict linear story. Sandbox games such as Tiny Glade and Minecraft facilitate creativity by intrinsically motivating players to feel rewarded via experimentation and problem solving in creative ways. Tiny Glade is also a part of the cozy game genre, a type of casual game which was popularised during the COVID-19 pandemic with titles such as Animal Crossing and Unpacking. Cozy games emerged as a counter-genre to mainstream action-adventure and first-person shooter games by promoting a sense of security provided by a low level of gameplay difficulty and the inability to lose game progress. They provide an abundance of building resources and softness of immersive elements such as calm music and subdued bright colours. Tiny Glade functions within what is known in game studies as a magic circle, the special place in time and space created by a game. Here, players are given a sandbox to doodle with roads, water and terrain, where creativity is endless in designing wooden Tudor-style homes and taverns or experimenting with stone and spires to create whimsical castles and dungeons. There are no rules in Tiny Glade besides the limitations set by the game's program, which determines what pieces will and will not fit, similar to Lego. Tiny Glade focuses on small, procedurally built environments, meaning the game creates original content based on the game's algorithm or code to create satisfying and responsive builds which turn out slightly different each time. Where a road crosses a wall, the game will procedurally generate an archway to pass through it. Ivy will procedurally grow up walls, and if you want to add a window, the game will procedurally generate random adornments and clutter around the outskirts of your building. Tiny Glade immerses players by providing you with a sense of being surrounded by a completely other reality which takes over all of your attention. The game does this through the dreamy soundtrack provided by Knock Knock Audio, along with countryscape sound effects like soft swaying breezes blowing through the trees and the fluttering of wings made by ducks flying overhead. Tiny Glade provides challenge-based immersion by challenging players' mental and motor skills in strategically thinking about how to put your medieval builds together, stimulating imaginative immersion where you can kick back and use your imagination to create your own Tiny Glade. Tiny Glade fosters a community of practice where players collaborate to develop ideas. The photo sharing function in Tiny Glade allows players to take stunningly detailed photographs of your diorama builds and upload them online across a range of social platforms. The Tiny Glade Discord server and subreddits foster a participatory culture of uploading builds, troubleshooting gameplay issues, and sharing techniques amongst other players and the developers. If you encounter a bug in the game, there's an option to send feedback straight to the developers. Tiny Glade has a 10 out of 10 score on Steam and is currently only available to download through that platform on PC for around $22 Australian. It is currently nominated for the Sit Back and Relax Award in the 2024 Steam Awards.